Hello, 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 and hello. Oh my goodness, what a treat to be here with these ladies. This is the Melanated Air Hour. I know you haven't seen us in a minute, but we are here today. You have me, I am LaNée Javet. We have Keisha Ravenell today at We Inspire Brand. We have the Miss Faye Bishop at Miss Faye Bishop here on today. And we are going to have a dope talk today. We're going to have a dope conversation today. The title of this live is The Importance of Investing in Black Women. And we're going to kind of just go around and talk about some of the really cool stuff that's happening with Black women. I don't know if you guys have heard or even if you know about the 10 billion with a B, the $10 billion in direct investment capital that GoldMan Sachs is doing for 1 million Black women. I don't know if you guys have heard about that, but we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about 10 different innovations that have been invented by Black women. Some of them you may know, some of them you might not know. We're going to talk about that. And then we're going to kind of circle back around to talking about what it means to be a strong Black woman. Okay, so that's our conversation on today. As you come into the room, please say hello. Say hi, say what's up, give us a thumbs up. Hey, Dana, give us a thumbs up, share this video, share this video, give us a thumbs up, bring some people to the conversation. It's going to be dope, okay? Hey, Lori, please, chime in. Let us say hello. Let us know where you're chiming in from. We want to chat with you. We want to talk to you. So we're going to start with the innovations of Black women. But before I disclose this information, Keisha and or Faye, when you think about Black women, and if somebody were to say to you just off the top of your head, like what innovations have Black women created? I know a lot of times we go straight to the gentleman that did the peanuts, Carver, right? Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think like what, and then we know that there is a Black person who invented the lights, the
street light,
Mm-hmm. But what other things? And then we know the pressing comb.
Yeah.
If I have somebody like, what to come to me? What other things would you say that Black women have invented?
That's what I was going to say, LaNée. I was going to say the Madam C.J. Walker and the hot comb.
The hot comb.
That's what I was going to say.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Faye? You're on mute, boo.
On mute.
Still on mute.
I'm sorry. I don't know if many people know about Dr. Shirley Jackson, whose work, what should I say, early innovative work led to the creation of the, what was it? I think it was the caller ID, something like that. And then there's Alice Parker, who improved the heating furnace. She which was a space heater. There's Marie Britton Brown. She did home security. So there are tons of Black female innovators that, other than Madam C.J. Walker, that are out there and that we should know about because they have a lot of great achievements and contributions.
Absolutely. So in looking at, let me back up. Sorry, I want to set this up properly. So as we're preparing for the Black PowHER Lifestyle Retreat, I'm always wanting to make sure that I'm crossing my T's and dotting my I's, right? So if we're going to be talking about the successes of Black women and we're going to be helping Black women to get this next level, we also want to show that the Black women who have done it before us, right? So in my research, came across this article that talked about these 10 innovations that Black women have done. And to Faye's point, one of them was everything good about your phone. If you did not know this, the caller ID and call waiting was invented by a Black woman, Dr. Shirley Jackson. Did you guys know that? Let me know in the comments. Did you know that a Black woman invented call waiting and caller ID? Jackson was the first Black woman to earn a doctorate from MIT. I didn't know that. She was the first Black female president of a major technology institute and went on to become the first Black woman appointed chair of the United States Nuclear Regulatory Commission. I didn't know any of that. They be trying to hide. They be hiding stuff from us. Like if more Black women knew the types of stuff that we were achieving, I think it would be more. It would create more inspiration for folks to get out of their head and get out of their way. Mm-hmm. The space heater was created by Alice Parker. Her design earned a patent in December of 1919. Were we getting patents back then?
Yes.
Man, look at that, you guys. Okay. So that's the heater. And then we have the space-saving furniture. In 1885, Sarah Good became the first African-American woman to file a patent. Good was born into slavery after the Civil War. So that's the third innovation. The fourth one is home security, like Faye said, in 1966. Sister Rosetta Tharpe is given credit for rock and roll. A good hairbrush. Lida, huh?
I said, amen. A good hairbrush.
Right? Lida did the hairbrush in 1898. She simple yet revolutionary. She was patented, new and improved hairbrush. Downtown Los Angeles is accredited to Bridget Biddy Mason. It says she didn't invent the city of Los Angeles, but she did help shape the city's downtown area. This stuff is so dope. I love learning more about Black people, especially stuff I don't know, because history and society will try to pretend like we didn't add as much value to this world as we have, right? The eighth one is the menstrual pad. The ninth one, I like this one, 3D movies.
That's so cool.
Have you seen any 3D movies lately? You know why? A Black woman, her name was Valerie Thomas. She was a physicist, an inventor, and a NASA data analysis. When she wasn't managing the Landsat program, which has produced millions of images of Earth, she was inventing the technology, which went on to become the premise for more advanced TV screens and modern 3D technology. She invented this in the 70s. In 1980, Thomas patented her illusion transmitter. I wonder if her family, we'll look at this later, the legacy, like financially, do these families live off of that? And then the last one is better eyesight with Dr. Patricia Bath.
There's another one.
Interesting. What's another one?
And I always talk about her because she's a hometown girl. If for those who are watching, I'm from Philly. I'm a Philly girl. I'm an East Coast girl. I lived in New York as well. And when it comes to hip hop music, one of the first female rappers, like you hear your Salt and Peppers, you hear your Yo-Yos, your Queen Latifahs, MC Lights, and your Roxanne Shantays. But nobody talks about Lady B. And Lady B is actually one of the first female rappers in hip hop to record a single. Her single was To the Beat, y'all. And she's also, she was actually signed to the Sugar Hill Records label. But what a lot of people don't know is, in addition to that, being one of the first earliest female rappers in hip hop, she's actually one of the first radio DJs to play rap records on radio outside of New York. She is the reason that radio all across the country and in mainstream decided to play hip hop music, because remember in the 80s, hip hop music was like banned from the radio. You had to buy the tape. You had to buy the 8-track if you wanted to listen to everybody. They really wasn't playing it on the radio, and they weren't bleeping out the curse words. They weren't doing all of that yet. She's actually one of the first people to bring hip hop to radio, taking it to another level. So shout out to Lady B, because that was an invention all its own as well.
That's awesome. We're so dope, you guys. Like we really are magic. Like when you hear Black girl magic, I don't feel like that term, like I feel like it's thrown around, right? Like, oh, Black girl magic. But when you really sit down and think about it, we really are magical.
You know, I've been saying that it feels like Black girl magic was just invented. I forget who used that terminology first. I don't know if it was Jesse Williams or not, but I feel like society thinks it's a current anomaly that has just happened. Right. But I've been saying Black girl magic didn't just start. That didn't just come about in the last 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. Black girl magic was invented when your great 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 grandmother was born and came across on that ship and made it through. And then her daughter made it through, 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 and then you got here. But Black Girl Magic wasn't just created out of some words that somebody spoke. It's bigger than us.
Yeah.
It's bigger than what we see. It's bigger than how we live. And we need to, it's not generic. It's not just something we throw around for fun and you wearing t-shirts. It's legit.
Yeah. And LaNée, you saying that, I was just listening to Destiny's Child, Survivor. Like, I'm a survivor. You know, and just hearing that, it's like, we come from generations of survivors, and now we are the survivors, because you have like a survivor, like that's what we're doing in this climate, right? Like, and then think about before, like how you said, they survived the slave ships, they survived slavery. Our ancestors, like, we are living testaments of that, of their survival. Like, it really is amazing when you just sit back, you think about it, you talk about it. It's really amazing.
It is.
I mean, my eyes are, as we were talking about it, my eyes are watering, because I'm just thinking, you know, we know that there were slaves that were like, fuck this, and jumped off the boat. Right. And in this moment, I'm thinking, damn, what were those that didn't jump off? What were they thinking? What were they feeling?
Right.
Like, when we talk about it, we go to, I don't know what you guys are thinking. And in the comments, let me know what you think. In my mind, I go to that scene in the Black Panther. He was like, nah, don't put me in jail. Just throw me in the ocean with my ancestors. And we think that that's the brave thing to do. Like, just throw me in the ocean. I'm good. I'm not about to go over here. You're not going to disrespect me to do it. But the other side of that is the ones who did not jump and was like, I'm going to, like, what kind of mentality does it take to know, or maybe not know, what you're about to go over here and do it, go through. And then when you actually land here and you're dealing with it and going through it, not kill yourself.
Right.
Like, just, I never really thought about that mentality, that psychology of it. Watching your brothers and sisters and people jump off the boat and you not.
Right.
And not only that, watching your brothers and sisters fight. You know, we talk about Black Girl Magic, and when we think of the slave revolt, we think of Harriet Tubman. But the one that doesn't get talked about the most is Sojourner Truth. Sojourner Truth, you know, didn't run. She didn't try to escape. She, you know, took her abuser to trial and won her case. This was a story that was widely covered in the press. She took her case to court, and she recovered her son, who was born into slavery, and got her freedom. We don't think about the actual fighters. We only think about the runners and those who tend to break, or who are buck broken, as they say. And we think about them, but we don't think about those who stay and they fight to the finish.
Yeah.
And it's all about perspective, right? Because I can see the hero in both. So it really is about your perspective and giving that respect to both ancestors, right? Because I mean, we don't know if the people that jumped, you know, they had surviving children or whoever, and that's where we came from, whatever. But just giving that respect, like, this is where we come from, you know, like, oh, I love this. I didn't know we were going to get this deep.
Oh my God. Because it just hit me as we're having this conversation. Like, when you said the Black Girl Magic, whenever people say it, I feel like we're just talking about right now.
The hashtag.
Huh?
Like, yeah, the popularity of the hashtag.
Yes, it feels like it's become this gimmicky hashtag thing. But if you really think about, where does your magic come from, right? It's innate. It's instilled in us. It's who we are. We couldn't get away from it if we wanted to, because it's been passed down from generation to generation to generation to generation. And so when we look at all these innovations and these inventions that Black women have done and that Black women have created that we don't know about, we haven't heard about, right? it just makes you go back into yourself and be like, man, for me anyways, it makes me just feel with pride, but have more resilience and just realize there's so much more work to do.
That's right.
There's more that I can do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. And it makes me think like I have to continue fighting. I have to survive for the next generation. Like I don't have children yet, but I plan and I pray to God that I'm blessed with children. And it's like, just like the people before me that survived and fought for me, now I have to do the same for the next generation that's coming after me.
Yes. Oh, right. I love it. Oh my God. Okay. So with that, we start talking about what we have to do next. A lot of times it comes down to funding, right? And so we need to be invested in. We need to invest in ourselves, right? We need to invest in ourselves, but also there's this movement, there's this shift, because as Black women are being recognized, we're starting businesses faster than anybody else. We're getting educated faster than anybody else. We're doing these great things. Hello from Brooklyn. What's good? Wow. As all these things are happening, other organizations are taking notice, right? So you have GoldMan Sachs, who is doing this initiative to invest in 1 million Black women, which is dope, right? But that's not even to me like the big piece. It's the fact that they're looking to invest $10 billion. Would it be $10 billion in direct investment capital to Black women? Why do you guys think that is? Like, why do you think that corporations and organizations are recognizing Black women right now at this time and investing these types of amounts into our organizations, our businesses, our communities?
Well, for me, I believe it's about elevating Black women and hopefully Black families to basically start building their programs and companies from the ground up. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like it's like a kind of a community transformation kind of thing that they want to do. My only issue with it is the elimination of Black men. That's the only problem that I have with this initiative. Because it's like elevating Black women is a wonderful thing. You know, we are the vessel that brings life into the world. You know, without us, there are no babies, there are no children. But, you know, we're also under-resourced, we're underfunded, we're all underpaid. So elevating the Black woman is a great thing, and investing in us is incredibly important, because investing in us is an investment into the children, into our communities. And I think it's a wonderful initiative. I really do. I can't get with the fact that it seems like Black men are completely eliminated.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I started reading it, so I'll read it a little bit for those of you guys who cannot see it on the screen. It says, in partnership with Black women-led organizations and other partners, our new investment initiative, 1 million Black women, will commit $10 billion in direct investment capital and $100 million in philanthropic support to address the dual disproportionate gender and racial biases that Black women have faced for generations, which only have been exacerbated by the pandemic. So the investment areas include healthcare, education, housing, and small businesses, all aimed at narrowing opportunity gaps and positively impacting the lives of at least 1 million Black women. And then it closes with, Black women are foundational to their families, communities, and the United States economy, yet they face immense challenges such as being under-resourced, underpaid, and underfunded. That's kind of what that's kind of how it reads.
Yeah.
And you know what? I will be honest, when I first saw it, I was so excited for Black women. I didn't even go to thinking about, you know what, where's this funding or these types of initiatives for Black men?
Yeah.
Because they too are victims of, you know, being underfunded, underpaid. They are victims of crime bills.
Yep.
Well, policies affect them too. Bad policies affect it, because all of this is the result of bad policy, political policy, racism, systematic racism. But they too are affected. So it's like, while this is great, what role? Where do they fit into the equation? You know?
Yeah.
I as a woman, all of us who are either married or partnered with Black men, they want to be invested in too.
Right? That's the truth.
It gives me that agenda vibe, like, the agenda to divide and conquer, right? Like, we know that is a strategy, for an opponent. You divide and you conquer. So even though it's amazing for Black women, like Faye said, it's like, where are these things for Black men? And I can't help but to think, and I've witnessed that Black women, as they grow, they sometimes look down on Black men, like, well, what's wrong with you? Why can't you do this? I did this. And it's like, yeah, you did it because you have people investing in you. You have people that believe in you, right? So you can't now get down on the Black man that doesn't really have that, that backing, right? So it's like, we have to stick together as Black people. So you are being investing in, turn around and now say, like, okay, what are we going to do for our Black man? So it's like, you get that, what is it? Robin Hood, steal from the rich and the poor or something. It's like, take it, get all you can, and now give it to the Black man. So now we can come together and we can be more powerful.
The coming together piece is important.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, I wholeheartly agree. And it's like, there's a lack of financial literacy, a lack of wealth to invest. There's, the topic of money issues and financial services, jobs, and things like that, where Black men, much like Black women, are completely cut out. So in the event of them helping to elevate us with this initiative, and Black women are building, with Black men being cut out of the equation, is this a deliberate attempt to not just divide us, but to just completely throw the playing field, like make it where it's complete, there's an imbalance? Because we already have these gender wars going on right now as we speak. Is this going to further divide us? And if so, I don't know if I want it.
I didn't even think about it and that's what I love about these conversations, is they lead us into opening our mind and think about other things, because it's like the mouse with the cheese. It's like, I got this cheese, I'm going to invest 10 billion in your community. We're like, oh my God, 10 billion in the community. Let me go get it. I like the cheese. I love my business. You completely forget that this elevation of the Black woman to do these great things widens that gap between Black women and Black men. You don't the foresight, the forethought to think about, how does this play out? I didn't think about it that way, because that's a very true sentiment. And I think it entails what both of you guys said. As Black women, God, I hate to say this. Oh, it breaks my heart to say this. As Black women, and this is going to take us into a different direction. As Black women, as Black women, the onness is on us to think about and consider the Black man when we are considering economic growth, wealth development, and how these corporations pass out and or decide who they're going to invest in. Now, I say that, and the reason why I'm like, it breaks my heart to say this, is because I know that there are a lot of Black women in the world who feel like, why is it always on us to have to consider the Black man, when a lot of times the Black man doesn't consider us? And that's kind of why it hurts me to say that. But what I would say is that all Black men don't think that way. There's a lot of Black men that consider Black women. There's a lot of Black men who are in partnership with us and who want to see us win.
Yep.
And so I don't like to make blanketed statements. So for those sisters who do feel like we can't. The only true way for us to grow as a community is if we do it together. That's that old age analogy. You can go far by yourself, but you can go fast together. Like, we have to be considerate and be thinking about, how to go together. Even with this in particular initiative, if we operated like other communities where Caucasian husbands will use their wives to get a minority-owned funded business, right?
Yeah.
We too can use this type of an initiative with the billions of dollars to help our brothers, cousins, nephews, husbands to fund and get a minority owned or a Black woman owned business.
That's
like
right.
There are ways to work within the system in these types of investments and in these types of initiatives to help Black men.
That's right. And I agree. I think you had asked the question, is it our responsibility? I don't remember how you framed it, but I am okay with taking on that responsibility as a Black woman until we get to a point that now the Black man is ahead and we're working together and we're better as a community. Because it's like, if we don't do it, who's going to do it? Right? So it's like, if we are the only ones that can do it, then we got to suck it up. Like, F it. Let's make it happen. Right? Like, we got to make it happen. If we don't make it happen, who's going to make it happen? Because they're not handing out these things to Black men because they know what that can do to the community. They know how much that can elevate the community with the Black man, being the leader. So if we got to take it, if we got to take one for the team so that down the line, for the next generation, they could be good, then we just got to suck it up and do it.
And we have to consider how Black people as a whole are just disproportionately affected by so much. Like, as a collective group, we are disproportionately affected when it comes to getting loans, being able, our debt is higher. It's just, even this past situation with the pandemic, Black men suffered just like we did. They struggled to stay afloat during the pandemic. There was a lack of financial support for Black men and Black women during the pandemic. And it's like a lot of people don't even understand how that, in addition to everything else that we've had to endure as a community, is going to affect us, disproportionately affect us in terms of our economic recovery. Mm-hmm. So it's like, thank you, GoldMan Sachs. I'm all for this initiative. I'm completely for it. But you need to carve out something for our men too. But it is, and my question is the reason for you not doing that is because you would deem Black men as a threat if they were able to, build businesses and they would have an initiative with Black women to build stronger and come out stronger in terms of building the community? What would be the reason? But when you think about the rise in inflation, and you think about how the price of everything is going up, and as I said, where we are now in this economic recovery since the pandemic, these initiatives are so necessary, but they are necessary for everyone.
Yes.
I think you hit it I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, in real life, like, for real, no jokes, just for real. If the world or corporations or whomever were to give Black men an honest chance, funding, businesses, leadership, a way to provide for their family, stand on their own 2 feet, what do you think that would do to the Black community?
Well, we would be a threat.
We would be a threat. We absolutely would be a threat, which is why I see that they target the women, and target in a good way, not in a bad way. They target the women, give the women funding because they understand the mentality. Because now you're getting into like
emotional,
the psychology, right? So now if your woman is above you and she looking at you like, why couldn't you do this? Now you're losing respect for the Black man. Right. So, and not every woman, I'm not saying every woman does this, but I see this a lot with Black women. There are a lot of Black women that have lost respect for Black men. And like I said earlier, it's because you're given opportunities that they haven't been given. So if you are given these opportunities, you're taking advantage of these opportunities, of course you're going to rise while he's still over there busting his ass.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And unfortunately,
this affects our children. This affects kids. And, you know, when often with these gender wars and the things that go on, and these kinds of initiatives and looking down at Black men, often we're thinking about partners. We're thinking about the baby daddy. We're thinking about the man we're currently with. We're thinking about the husband, but we're not thinking about our brothers. We're not thinking about our fathers. We're not thinking about our Black male cousins. We're not thinking about our uncles. We're not thinking about our teenage Black sons who are, this kind of stuff also affects them.
Yeah.
You know, I have 6 brothers. Yep, I'm biased towards Black men. I can't help that because things like this affects them. And with them all being married, this is going to affect their home, you know, their wives and spouses. You know, if they decide to start a business or have a business, they'll be able to take advantage of this initiative, but my brothers won't be able to. So it's not just about my husband, my partner, my man. It's about the other men in our family too.
Absolutely. You know, there's this piece in here I want to read to you guys. Let me see if I can share the screen. And it talks about, it says, reducing the earnings gap for Black women has the potential to create 1.2 to 1.7 million United States jobs and to increase the annual US GDP by 300 to 450 billion in current dollars. Imagine Black women closing the 90% wealth gap their households face compared to white households. Black women, white households. Notice that. Then imagine Black women's wages on par with those of white women, currently 15% higher, or white men, 35% higher. They didn't even compare it to Black men. Imagine Black women entrepreneurs receiving more than 0.3% of venture capital funding. They didn't mention Black men not one time in this whole situation with comparison. And then even when they compared it to white, they talked about the households as if there's no Black man or husband in the household. They didn't say Black households.
See, and I have a problem with that. And I'm one of those small business owners who would say, if it's not for my home, if you can't give my man one too, I don't want to keep your money. I'll get it another way.
Mm-hmm. We have to be in partnership. Like, yes, investing is important. And again, let me say this. I'm not saying do not go out here and get this investment, sis. Go out here and get this investment. Go out here and get this money. GoldMan Sachs is handing it out. Go and get it.
Take advantage.
Yeah, take advantage. Do go get the money. We're not saying don't go get the money. If somebody is offering it, go and pick it up. Scoop it up. They owe it to us. Go get the money.
Facts.
But what we are saying is also consider how you can be in partnership with others in the community. Be considerate of how this money can be used to help your nephew or your brother or your cousin or your husband in his business. So maybe you don't have a business. Maybe you aren't doing something. Put your name on a business with a partner with somebody where you can get funding and help fund.
Yeah,
it's not always just for you, right? So investing in Black women is important, which is what we're talking about today. But it's not just important for Black women. It's really making the investment into Black people. Investing into the Black community is important. And even when we're talking, we had this conversation offline, but something that I've been noticing, and I was telling the ladies, is that when we think about investing, a lot of times we're only investing in one dimension of who we are and or what we do. Right. So a lot of times you will see people that will go and spend money on maybe a book or a course that's going to teach you how to make money. But I've been noticing that we don't spend money to invest in ourselves. Like, we don't spend money to invest in our mindset. We don't spend money to invest in developing as an individual. We don't spend money investing in our personal growth, working through our personal traumas, working through our mindset, working through our failures. And we end up sitting by ourselves and thinking that we're the only person who's dealing with a stress or a trauma or a setback. And we'll sit in that place for too long because we didn't make the investment to move on or to get out of it.
Yep.
I agree.
I agree as well.
Your personal development is very important. Your personal development is something that you should want to work on every single day. It should be part of your main objective every single day, especially where it counts, because it affects your mental health, you know, Your personal development affects your employability. It affects your wealth. It affects your talents. It affects how you parent your children and how, you are with your spouse at home. It's all about consciously making an effort to improve yourself when you participate in your personal development. And you have to invest in that.
And I think a lot of the time the mentality is, well, I'm going to get the money first and then I'll worry about the other stuff. But you have to remember that money makes you more of who you already are. So if you already are someone that is confident, that has a good mentality, that has been investing in themselves, been going to therapy, right? If you are already that person, then that money is only going to elevate that. If you are the person with terrible, and I think LaNée mentioned this offline, terrible money habits, right? And bad mindset, and the mental health ain't right. Money is only going to enhance that. So like you have to focus on you first. You have to focus on the mindset first. You have to focus on your mental health. And I consider myself a mental health advocate because I deal with my own mental health issues. I deal with anxiety, and I see how anxiety affects my business. So if I'm not dealing with that anxiety, then business is going to get cut off. Like the money is not going to come in. So I have to focus on Keisha as the person first before Keisha as the business owner.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
That is the whole truth. That is the whole truth. It's one of the reasons why, or a lot of the reason why, I won't say one of, it's a lot of the reason why, when I sat down to come up with the Black PowHER LifeStyle Retreat, like most anything that I do, right? I'm always thinking about the end result. Like, what do people want to walk away with? Like, when I think about Black women specifically right now, and I think about the conversations that we're having, I think about the stuff that we're talking to our girlfriends about. Actually, let me come down here to this right here. And I came up with, I don't even know if you guys have seen this, but the conversations for the day or whatever. It's all around the conversations that Black women are having relative to where they are in life today versus where they really want to be. Right. And so when I put this together, I did day one as mind, body, and soul, and day two is liberation and legacy. Like those are the two conversations that we're having. One, getting ourselves right, making sure that we feel good, making sure that we look good. We were talking about, oh my God, I'm trying to have it all. We're talking about, I'm overwhelmed. We're talking about, I'm out here, I'm being strong. I have to be the strong person, I have to be the strong friend, but sometimes it's hard. We're out here talking about, I'm listening to Black women talk about how great they are and how good they are and what they want. And literally right after saying all those things, they'll be like, but I don't think I can. I was like, but sis, you just said all these great things about yourself. And so we have a little bit of that imposter syndrome in us, just based on the world, based on trying to sit at certain tables, based on the jobs that we have. And so there's this lifestyle ideology that we have that we want to go after, but there's some elements, whether those are traumas or things that are in our head that are keeping us from them. Then there's this other side of us where we want liberation. We don't want to be tied to a job. We don't want to have to live paycheck to paycheck. We want to be thinking about our future. And so, conquering the corporate ladder, if that's something that you want to do, that's what's, those are conversations that we're having. But also, how do you move up and secure the bag? Whether you're an entrepreneur, an employee, people want to make more money, right? There's this understanding of credit that's happening. We talk a lot about increasing your credit. So one of the conversations we're having is master the world of credit, how to join the 700 club. But that's not enough. You have all these people who get to 700 credit scores, but then they don't know what to do with it. So you have a 730, and all you're thinking about is, I'm about to get a low interest rate on my car. Don't nobody care about that. I mean, you might. But really, how can you leverage having a 730 credit score? And that's where we're gonna build on that with building a bulletproof wealth portfolio. If you have over 700 credit score, over 730, whatever the case might be, you should be leveraging that credit score to buy property that's an investment property. You should be leveraging that to get business credit. Like there's other things you do with the credit score that's over 700 than just get a low interest rate on a car. But we don't talk about those things. We just talk about get your credit score up, but not actually what you're supposed to do with it once you get it there. Okay. Then we're going to talk about building a bulletproof wealth portfolio, how to stack your FU money. Like, you need to understand crypto, real estate, cannabis, stocks, entrepreneurship. There's more than one way to make money. There's more than one way to invest. And a lot of times people only push one of those initiatives. And so we're going to talk about the various ways that you can invest, as well as planning for your future, protecting your financial assets. We need to have a real talk about life insurance. A real talk. You can change generational wealth with one life insurance policy, just one. If the whole family goes in and says, we're going to put $1 million in Big Mama, and then this is what we're going to do with it, this is how we're going to do it, so everybody can create businesses or create investment. Like, that's a real conversation that we don't have in our community, but we need to. Yeah. Financial planning, estate planning, understanding the difference between a will and a trust. You need to know this stuff. And so when I think about these topics, when I think about what I'm going to be creating for the community, I'm always consistently considerate of, where are we struggling? What conversations are we not having? What should we be talking about? And then how can we have these conversations in a manner which is safe so that people feel comfortable talking about it without feeling attacked, but they're actually getting the knowledge. Oh, and I skipped over alpha femininity because I didn't mean to skip over it, but that's one I just feel like we need to have. There's so much in the news and social media right now about high value, low value, what men want, what women want. And I feel like we just need to have this conversation, like a legit, real conversation about what it means to be an alpha woman. And I don't feel like alpha females should be penalized for being strong. We've been given this strong Black woman narrative, and then sometimes we choke on it, but it's not intentional. It's not, we shouldn't be penalized for it. And so I want to have a really deep dive conversation about, what does that look like? What does that mean for us as Black women? And so all that to say, personal development is super important, right? The conversation that we're having outside of business are equally important as the investments that we make into business, as equally important as the conversations we have around business. And so what do you guys think?
I think this is going to be an amazing retreat. I also think that these conversations are necessary because right now, because we're dealing with so many problems in the world, it should never stop pushing your snowball. It should never stop pushing the ball, should I say. But there does come a time where we need to rest, and we need to basically take a step back and reevaluate where, we need to put our focus. Mm-hmm. And that's why, when it comes to development, a lot of people don't understand there's a difference between business development and there's personal development. And they're separate. And they both affect your self-confidence. They both affect how we communicate in relationships to ourselves and other people. It's necessary. I can't wait. I'm excited about this.
Me too. Me too. Excited. Yeah, and you going through the list, it's like, oh man, that's gonna be dope. Oh, that's gonna be a good conversation. And Faye, you mentioned the word rest. And that is something that I preach all the time to my audience, because rest is not a reward, it's a necessity. And I have to tell myself that, because when I embarked on the entrepreneurship journey and becoming a full-time entrepreneur, I felt like, oh my God, like I just have to like work. I was Rihanna, work. That's who I was. And I ended up crashing and burning, right? Like I was burnt out. And it's because I didn't prioritize rest. So when you're able to rest and when you're able to work on yourself personally and not just as a business owner, you get to show up as your best self. So how much better will you be as a business owner when you're well rested, when you've worked on your mental health, when you've worked on your mindset? So this is why you have to prioritize these things, because you want to be this dope business owner, right? But you're not going to be the dope business owner if those things are not in place.
Yes,
I agree. And I like that, LaNée, you added the alpha feminine, the myth of the alpha, the strong Black female, because that is something I'm going to be so happy to talk about, only because the strong Black woman tag, I feel, wasn't something that we gave ourselves. I believe those who played the role in dividing us gave us that tagline. I don't believe Black men gave it to us. Black women didn't give it to Black women. Those that are responsible for this great divide going on, that's who did it. And because Black women are so emotional, we're emotional creatures by nature, and we're also very nurturers. We kind of took that and we went with it, and we started doing our own thing, almost to the point where I feel as though we get up every single day and we go out of our houses and we lead with being that strong Black woman, meaning we're not allowed to cry. We're not allowed to be sad. We're not allowed to rest, as Keisha brought up. We're always got to work. And when we're not working, we're doing everything else. We're being the brains in the family. We're being the person that's taking care of everybody else instead of taking care of ourselves. So that's a conversation I can't wait to dive into on this retreat.
And that's why it's so important that you check on your strong friends. I always say all the time, check on your strong friends, man, because as Black women, we have this exterior that we walk around with, and this mentality and this face that's always like this, and I got it, and I'm gonna get it in the mud, and it's gonna be good, and it's gonna be cool. And then we will come home and be like, this shit is hard. And sometimes we don't check on our strong friends, and they will be going through stuff, but you won't know it, you won't tell it, you can't see it, because we have to still be the strong Black woman. Dana Lambert said it's the mask. Yes. And so the reason why I put that conversation on there is because I've been talking to so many Black women lately who feel like their mask is cracking. And they're like, why do we have to be this strong? Like, why is it that we have to be this strong? We are, thus said, the most disrespected, the least protected. And that's literally why we have to be the strong. But then on the other side of that, we get penalized for being the strong. So it's like we've been put into this position and situation to be strong, but then we get it's used against us. And so that's why I'm like, we need to have this conversation, because there's some freedoms that need to happen. And that's why my theme has been relax, relate, release. I know we joke about it because it was like one of my favorite episodes of A Different World when Debbie Allen was like telling Willie, relax, relate, release. But it's the truth. Like, we have to take time to relax, right? But I think it's important when we start talking about relating, you have to know that you're not by yourself. You have to know that there's other Black women that are going through this with you. You are not alone. Like, we're more alike than we are different. But it's not just the relax. It's not just the relate. The release is equally important. And we walk around with too much trauma. That we do not release. And that's what makes the mask so heavy. And that's what makes the strong Black woman syndrome so difficult and hard sometimes, is because we miss the release.
And I would just add that the people that gave us the title, the strong Black woman, they also gave us the characteristics that come with it, right? So like, we have to be these people or these women that, we don't cry, and we boss up, and we do all of these things. But contrary to that, there's strength and vulnerability, which is what they didn't tell us that the strong Black woman is. So the strong Black woman is the woman that can be vulnerable, that can release, right? Break down, you cry, you wipe your eyes, and then you get up and do it. But you need that release in order to build up your strength. So I want my Black women to be vulnerable. Listen, I go and I tell all my business to my friends, my mom. I was telling y'all my business earlier. I don't care. Like, look, I'm overwhelmed. I'm planning this wedding, and I'm doing this, and I got this going on, because I need to release, because I know once I release, it's like, oh, I feel better. Let's get up and let's conquer the world, right? But we need that.
You know what's crazy, and it's what's interesting about what you said about the release and those who gave us the moniker of the strong Black woman. You ever notice that whenever we're not being the strong Black woman, as said by the rest of the world, we're the angry Black woman? We're always
angry. That's how they know us.
We're always locked. They always stick Black women either on this side of the extreme or that. We're either the strong Black woman or we're the angry Black woman, but we're never anything in the middle. And we're never allowed to be something in the middle. And that, I've always found that fascinating. And I believe that a lot of that stems from the things that they placed on us to divide us from our men. And that's why we're so, and they dangled things in front of us that they knew we would take, such as money for these initiatives. And way back when, it would be the government or social programs, right? But they never told us what would be the consequence of that. And the consequence of that is the trauma. It is the trauma. It is the emotional trauma that we've carried. It's having to carried this burden on our back. I think there's a popular meme. I know you've all seen it, where it's like a Black woman, she's carrying a bag. Yeah. And each in the bag, it has a label. It's like tired, stressed, overwhelmed, and all of that. And she's carrying it on her back. That's where we are. And we have to talk about that. And at this retreat, that's what we're going to do.
Yeah. It always takes me back to Erykah Badu's Bag Lady. Like, if you really listen to those lyrics, like, that's one of my favorite songs. I don't know why, but it makes sense. She's like, bag lady, you gonna hurt yourself carrying that bag like that. Like, I can't recite the words right now, but that whole song is about what we carry in our bag, from relationship to relationship, from business to business, from job to job, from friendship to friendship, from chapter to chapter, from season to season. It's all that stuff. Hey, Kimberly, what's up? Texas in the building. That's what she's talking about. And under the alpha femininity, the myth of the strong Black woman, the discussion that I gave it was, the strength of a Black woman is not negative. It's the necessary muscle to carry the weight of our crown. Like, people, it's not bad. It's not bad to be a strong Black woman. The angry part is a little bit disconcerting, but the last time I was having this conversation, without even knowing it, somebody in the audience was like, yeah, I wish they would just call us powerful. And I was like, I'm glad you said that, because that's why I chose Black PowHER, right? Because sometimes we do have all the time we have to be strong. Sometimes we do have to be angry. Y'all out here killing our babies. Like, we have to be angry, but we're also magical. Like, we're so many different things. We're all different things. So I like PowHER. I like PowHER because I feel like it encompasses so many different things. Sometimes we have within our PowHER, right? Sometimes we have to be angry because we have to have the fire in our belly to get things done. Sometimes we have to be strong because sometimes it's just us. Sometimes we have to be vulnerable. Sometimes we have to submit. Sometimes we get to laugh. Sometimes we get to be footloose and fancy free. We're a variety. We are a plethora of different things. We're not one dimensional. We're not monolithic. We are beautifully. When I talk about myself, I always say I am a perfect imperfection. I am flawlessly flawed. People like, that's like an oxymoron. It is. Because I'm both. I'm flawless and flawed at the same time. I am perfect at who I am through my imperfections.
That's right.
And I feel like that's who we are as Black women, but a lot of times you just get the strong piece.
Yeah.
Well, what I want us to focus on as Black women is that peeping the psychological mind trick and the mind games that they play, because that's what they do to get us here. And I think the psychological mind trick of either the angry Black woman, ABW, or the strong Black woman, SBW, it could either do two things. It can strengthen you or weaken you, but either way, now fear and doubt often gets instilled in you. It gets instilled into your psyche. And that's what causes a lot of the stress that we tend to deal with. It even affects how we fight every day. And when I say fight, I don't mean physically fight, but just fight to get up and deal with the things that we have to deal with every day, and we need to just always peep it. And that's why I said, with this initiative, what stuck out to me, although it's a great initiative, is why are Black men eliminated? So you start in trouble again. That's how I'm looking at you. You already started trouble years ago, taking men out of the home and giving Black women welfare and Section 8 and all that. You're starting trouble again. Yeah. Don't do that, because I'm not a fan of that.
It's like a different, it's a different bait and switch. Before it was, here, we're going to give you the welfare, we're going to give you this, we're going to give you this, you don't need the Black man. Now it's, we're going to give you money. We're going to give you money. We're going to help you to fund your businesses. We're going to give you education. We're going to give you everything that you need to succeed as Black women. And we're not going to give the Black men anything, but you're going to do really good. You're going to do really well. You're going to go really far.
Yeah.
And with that escalation and with that rise, now you're going to start giving these Black men the side eye. So it's just a different bait and switch.
Yeah. And again, I agree. And again, they're giving us all this, but they're not going to tell us about the consequences on the back end, which will be stress, dealing with everything by ourselves, being alone, being unmarried, a lot of us. They're not telling us about that part, just like they didn't tell the baby boomer generation, our mothers or grandmothers, about that part. They didn't tell them about that part. They're not going to tell us that part. Yeah. And this retreat that we're doing, it's just to prepare you. It's to prepare you because it's coming. Take advantage, but pay attention to the psychological mind game, because they are definitely playing it.
Yes. And you see, this is why you need things like this retreat, because on your own, you're probably not thinking that, right? On your own, you're like, wow, these people really care about us. They want to, really elevate us. And then when you have these conversations, you come together and you have these conversations, and then you start to think like, wait a minute, you're right. So it's like, we need to invest in each other, and we need to create this community so that we can get on the same page, so that we can understand, so that we can see different perspectives that we wouldn't have otherwise seen if it was just us thinking, or, ourselves as an individual thinking about it.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And for my part, right, this is how I think anyways. Whenever people make an investment in themselves, I like to invest back in them. And Keisha has donated to this, but so for those of you who are thinking about participating in and or coming to the Black PowHER Lifestyle Retreat, I think investing should go both ways, right? So when people invest in themselves, one, you should get transformation. So you should be in control of your reinvestment, right? You should, but also I feel like you should feel like you got something back from that investment. And so my gift to those that are investing in themselves, we're giving away over $2,000 in between cash and, I don't want to call them prizes, but like gifts. So between cash and gifts. Are you guys familiar with Marcel? I don't know if you guys are familiar with Marcel Benson, but anyways, he's a really good friend of mine, and he's donated a watch that we're going to be giving away. His watch itself, or the least expensive watch, is $185. And then he's also giving away a bracelet. Keisha's doing a shirt. We have some journals. Teddy, who's not here with us today, she's doing her Invest in Cryptocurrency with Confidence course. She's going to be giving one of those away. I'm giving out a strategy session. There's a lot of cool stuff that we're going to be giving away. But what I want you guys to take away from this conversation is that not this conversation, but this in particularly right here, right now, is that right now we are doing the 48% off for 48 hours. Looks like there's a day left right now. There's still like 48 plus 5 hours, like 53 hours left. No, 24 plus 5, 29 hours left. So 29 hours left in the 48-hour sale, where you get 48% off of the investment into you. So general admission is just $99. So it starts off at $99 to get in the room. If you want VIP or super VIP, it goes up from there, but $99 to get in the room, to make the investment in yourself so that you can move yourself forward, your business forward, your career forward, your lifestyle forward, your mindset forward, your womanhood forward, your network forward, because these women are amazing. If you came to the Black PowHER Business Conference, phenomenal.
Yes.
Yes.
Phenomenal. And so we're going to take that and take it to the next level, but we're going to be dealing with the woman. We're going to be dealing with the woman behind the business. We're going to be dealing with the woman behind the career. We're going to be thinking about the mindset behind the woman behind the career. We're going to be dealing with the mindset behind the woman who goes after her dreams. We're going to be dealing with the mindset of the woman who does not go after her dreams or feels she deserves a seat at the table. We're gonna get the Black woman together, which is not to say not together, but we're gonna make her better. We're gonna take her to the next level. We're gonna push and pull and make sure that when you walk away from this retreat, relaxed. I just like to do it because I love when Debbie Allen finally gets with Whitley to do it. She's like, relax, release. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna help you to relax, release, so that you can go after everything that has your name on it with intention, feeling that you deserve it, that you're worthy of it, that you can have it, that it does belong to you. And if you can do that, you will see phenomenal success and elevation in your career and your business.
Yeah.
Speaking from experience. Self-reflection, self-awareness, personal development is hard. I'm gonna say it. It's hard because you gotta look at yourself. And it's easier to say somebody doesn't like you. It's easier to say that your job is looking at you crazy. It's easier to say it's somebody else than to say, you know what, maybe I'm struggling in this area. Maybe I need a little bit more here. That's hard. It's hard. What kind of personal development work have you guys done?
For me,
at any time.
For me, the personal development that I think, and I guess I'll be sharing a personal story here, is I hit a low after many years ago. It's almost 10 years now after my divorce. And so I actually went to therapy because I had to learn how to live without a person, you know, especially someone I had known my whole life. I married my high school sweetheart, and this was a person I had known since I was a teenager. And so it was dealing with separation anxiety. It was dealing with feelings of abandonment. It was dealing with, how do I learn to do this by myself? Because I had never had to. And so for me, I had to learn to get my self-confidence back up and started believing in my abilities, you know, how to take action alone and how to make better decisions. If there was an adaptability factor, you know, learning how to adjust, you know, quick and easy to new things, a new way of life. It was me learning how to trust myself again. And more importantly, it was me investing in my own personal emotional needs. I was so used to someone else doing it in addition to myself. I didn't know how to do that alone. So that was the personal development that I had to take initiative. And in order to take back my power, in order to take my power for the first time in my life, you know, so that was the personal development that I needed to do so that I could proceed for it to become like, you know, the Faye Bishop that sits before you.
Oh, I love it.
I love that. And my story is similar to Faye's. My first engagement, which ended in 2019, I was on and off with my ex for about 10 years. We were college sweethearts. So we met my freshman year in college. So from 18 to 30, he was pretty much all I knew. I mean, we were on and off. So I dated like in spurts, but nothing, like I never like had an adult relationship other than him, you know, up until that point or up until this point. And when we called it off, I had to go through this self-love journey, you know, how to love myself unconditionally, how to validate myself, because I was looking for validation externally. And even though that's cool, right? Like, we're humans, we do want to be validated, but it's important to validate ourselves first. So when I learned how to do that, I went through this healing process. So like Faye, I went to therapy. I was like, look, I need a therapist ASAP. I know I need a therapist. So I went to therapy. I was journaling. I got into meditation. Like I was doing all of these things in order to elevate myself on a personal level. And I really got to know myself. I got to know my likes, my dislikes in men, you know, because I'm like, well, eventually I want to date again. And that's something else that I was scared of, right? And that's how I came up with the I Am Enough t-shirts, because I really didn't feel like I was enough. Like looking at the world, you know, in 2019 with social media, and like I thought like these men wanted women with like big butts and like big boobs, and I was like, I don't got none of that. Like I was like, I don't have that. So I felt like I was never going to get married, and I wanted kids, and it was just this whole thing. And I'm like, oh my God, like I need help, you know? So I went through that journey, and here I am now engaged, you know, to the love of my life, and we're getting married in November. And had I not gone through that process of that personal development, I wouldn't have my business. My business wouldn't be what it is today, because it blew up because of the I Am Enough t-shirts. And then I went on to teach other people how to start their t-shirt business using their passion and purpose. So it wouldn't be what it is today without that self-development journey. And then, you know, my relationship wouldn't be what it is today without that self-development journey. So it's just so important. That personal development is just so important.
It is.
It's crucial. It's crucial. Dana says, that's beautiful. Yes, my therapy and self-growth journey has been amazing, creating that safe place to grow and love yourself and know that you are enough. It's super important. And I really don't want people to step over that piece. When you start talking about, you know, making these investments into your business, making the first investment, the biggest investment, the most important investment you will ever make is in yourself.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And it's never too late to make the investment in yourself. Age doesn't matter. Relationship status doesn't matter. It's that you do it. And here's the funny, here's not funny thing. Here's the caveat. You gotta do it every day.
That's right.
It's not a one and done thing. You don't just do it one time. You're like, all right, I made the investment. Every day, sometimes every hour, depending on what you have going on in your life. It's a daily investment that you have to make. I do it every day with through devotion or prayer or meditation. But I would say, if I was talking about the biggest investment I think I've made was when I had to leave home. Like I had to just take my own life into my own hands and say, okay, I want something different from my life. I'm not getting it here, surrounded by what's going on in my life. And so I have to leave. And I literally at 22 packed my bags and left and uprooted myself, because I knew what I was doing and where I was at wasn't what I wanted. And I wanted something different in my life. And so I just left. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know how I was going to get it. I didn't know nothing. I just knew what I was doing wasn't working. This is not the life that I want. Even though I don't know where I'm going or what I want to do or what's going to happen, I know that this isn't it. Mm-hmm. So whatever I have to do to make sure that this is not the life that I turn out with is what I'm going to do. And from that, I started reading books. I started going to conferences. I started going to events. I changed who I was hanging around with. I changed what I was listening to. I started seeking things that were going to fulfill me and help me to change my mindset and to change how I think and to change how I talk. And then I started getting around other people who thought and talked the way that I wanted to think and talk. And before you know it, you start seeing these little personal changes start happening that inch you closer to who you want to be and where you want to be in life. But it is all about intentionality.
Yeah, that's right.
It's all about making a choice and decision that I'm going to invest in myself. I'm going to invest in my growth. I'm going to invest in where I want to go. I'm going to invest in who I say I want to be. Because if you don't, it doesn't happen. That's right. I wish I could come over here and just flip the switch and be different. I'm going to be a size 12. My hair's going to be down my back. My booty's going to be big enough for a cup to sit on it. And I'm going to have $5 million in the bank. I wish I could do that. but I can't. I got to go to the gym tonight and do some sit-ups and some squats.
And I gained 10 pounds, guys. So like I have to lose it before the wedding.
Personal development is every single day. I dealt with a tragedy in my family, and it's like circumventing pain and seeing someone close to me hurting and not being able to really do anything except be a beacon of support. You want to be someone who takes it away, but you can't. Yeah. But that's like part of that personal development journey. You know, you want to take the person who's hurting them head off. You can't. Sometimes you want to punch somebody in the face or smack somebody like Will Smith, but you can't. So you have to be disciplined. Part of personal development is your discipline as well. It is an everyday job. It is an everyday thing.
And can I just leave with this? Who are you without the business, without the money, without the job? That's how you determine how much personal development you need. Like you ladies said, like you need it every single day. You need to be pouring into yourself every single day. But I don't think that people really know who they are without those things, without the business, without the degree, without the job. And you really have to dig deep and say, who am I without these things? Because they allow these things to define them. So I feel like that's a place that you can start. Like start there. Who are you without these accomplishments and without this money?
I think we're gonna end on that. I think that's I mean, that says it all. That's pretty much that Shum did it up right there. That's a good way.
It did.
Like, if you were to strip away that's good. That's good. That's good. So this is your personal invitation to the Black PowHER Lifestyle Retreat. It's going to be phenomenal. It's this weekend. If you cannot make it live to sit with us and sit in the room and I say break bread with us, but you know, network with us, you do get access to the replay so that you can catch it at your leisure. I didn't know this, but some of the ladies who missed the Black Business Conference got together and watched it together. So even if you miss it live, you can still get with a group of other women who may have missed it and still experience it together. Black women, we're phenomenal. We will find a way to make sure we can network and do what we got to do. So if you, again, it's this weekend. It's Saturday and Sunday. It's going to be hands down one of the best investments that you can make in yourself, in your future, in your woman, in your network. Go to www.theblackpowherretreat.com. It's down there. I'm scrolling on your screen. Again, it's 48% off for the next 48 hours, which really we're in the last like 30 hours, I think is what I saw. Like 29 hours is what we have left, depending on when you watch this, I should say, if you're watching the replay. But go check it out. On that note, I will do final thoughts. I know Keisha just gave her final thought. Faye, do you have anything to add or anything to say?
Nope. I think Keisha said it all. And I will see everybody this weekend at the retreat.
Yes. I didn't get to say who all is going to be there, but you guys, you know, it wouldn't be a retreat without LaNée there. So Keisha will be there. Faye will be there. I specifically brought in LaNée for the feminine alpha conversation. I think that one was best suited for this group because we're so diverse in our ideologies and how we think. There's a lot of things where we have similarities, but there's a lot of things where we don't. But also some people are married, some people are not. Some people have been in a relationship for longer. Some people are just dating. There's various dynamics to us that I think we would do a good job with that conversation. So, so that's our conversation that we'll be having on that day. Plus, Alicia's joining us for that one. I was like, let me get a doctor. I wanted a doctor on that panel. So Alicia will be joining us for that panel. So it's going to be good. I cannot wait. We're going to have a good time. So I will see you guys this weekend.
Yes.
And I will see you guys out there in the world. Make sure you guys go and find and support Keisha. You can find her at We Inspire Brand. Make sure you go and you follow Miss Faye Bishop at Miss Faye Bishop. You always can follow me at I am LaNée Javet. This is Melanated Air. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys. I know you haven't seen us in a minute, so you're probably feeling like, oh my God, where y'all been? You might see us again more often. We're trying to figure out how to be more consistent in what we do. Everybody is doing amazing stuff, a lot of stuff. Keisha, like she said, she's getting married in November. business is picking up. If you need a t-shirt business or you're looking to start a t-shirt business, holler at your girl because she can get you there if that's something that you're interested in. Don't wait. Ooh, Keisha, you know what? I might have to talk to you. I'm about to do a mastermind, a product mastermind from August to November to get people Black Friday ready for the holiday season. I might have to have you come in and talk to some of my people.
Yeah.
Because some of them are looking, I was actually going to go through merchandising, but I might partner with you on that instead. So remind me about that. And then, yeah. I was like, you know what? I might be able to do something with you on that. And then Faye, don't give me the line. Casting on call.
Lead casting call, which is an entertainment jobs resource. So if you're looking to work in entertainment, be it in the digital space, in the media space, in the arts, performing, acting, singing, lead casting call is the lead job source outlet that takes the job to, we bring the jobs to you. You know, a lot of times you have to go looking for the jobs. We bring it to you. So we're like the Indeed.com of the entertainment and digital space. Like, I think we're number 2 behind Backstage. So yeah. So I know there's project casting and all of that, but they charge. Lead casting call does not. So I have leadcastingcall.com. Yes. And I have brick and mortar businesses too, which is another story for another day. That I just had to take over. So
it's the family business though, right? Isn't it the family business?
It's the family.
We're not talking about what it is, but it's taking over a family business. So
yes, an entire grocery store.
Yes. So that's amazing. That's beautiful. Teddy, who is not here, she is transitioning out of the military. She teaches, and I don't know if she's a business coach. I think she's an exit strategist, and she helps in the crypto space and understanding that NFT and that metaverse world, if you will. And then Chanel, who is not here, Madam President. I'm going to call her name, Madam President, who's not here with us today. She is in the entertainment field, but she has her own merchandise company, the Freedom Company. And then you have me. So we are trying to figure out how to be better about coming to you guys more regularly. We definitely know 2 days a week is not going to do it. So we're trying to figure out how to do maybe an end of week wrap up where you can get us all and we'll just hit some different topics. Kind of like what we did today. We hit a couple of different things, right? So we were able to keep a good conversation going, speaking about a variety of different things. And so that's what we're thinking we're going to do with Melanated Air going forward, is like an end of week wrap up where we can at least commit to coming before you guys once a week and talking to you guys and giving our perspective on some different things that are happening in the world. So with that, we bid you farewell. We thank you. We love you. As always, continue to be blessed, stay Black, and be one. Peace.
Bye.